Today, we become legends.
Yemoja will never be bad. In fact, she'll never not be broken. Despite receiving almost exclusively nerfs since her release in October 2019, she has been a top support literally the entire time. Sure, there have been metas where she falls slightly out of favour as other Guardians do things she doesn't, but I don't think you could find a single time in her entire history that Yemoja wasn't a top 5 support. Of course, she is one of, if not the most difficult gods in the game to master, and that's the reason she got her only buffs which she will likely ever receive just 2 patches after her launch. After only 2 months, most players hadn't got the hang of her very unique design, and she got some small buffs to allow her to get to max Omi without investing into 600 mana. She then just needed level 4, level 12 and 300 mana. More of a shift than a direct buff, but she also got radius increases to her 1 in both forms. This, however, came after the single largest set of nerfs in pre-release that any god has ever seen. Halving the duration she gets extra Omi regen after ulting, reducing the shield and heal on her too, specifically the heal was reduced by 60%, which we'll talk about in a bit later. Her basic attack healing was also hit, halving this as well. Granted, she did receive some small buffs to her 1 here as well, but again, this is likely because people didn't have the hang of how to use Yemoja to her maximum effectiveness yet, and this is evident by the fact that her 2 was nerfed the most. It's very easy to get 8 seconds of extra Omi regen from ulting and just spam your 2 on allies in a fight, so that was the first ability to get hit. Most, if not all, the other buffs given to her 1 were reverted later on after players started getting good at Yemoja. After that patch in November 2019, Yemoja has received nothing but nerfs for almost 4 years and is still seeing immense play in the Pro League and is clearly overtuned. Patch 7.1, the power scaling and stun duration of her 1 was nerfed and the shield health on her 2 was nerfed again. 2 patches later in 7.3, the power scaling on both her 1s and the heal and shield was taken down. Patch 7.4, she now gains Omi slower and decreased base damage on her bubble. Patch 7.6, shield on her 2 decreased and movement speed on Riptide decreased. Patch 7.8, base damage and slow duration on bubble nerfed. Patch 7.12, slow on Riptide nerfed and cooldown increased on her ultimate. A little break after this until patch 8.7, which added a delay in between spamming her 1s. The damage on the bubble was buffed slightly to compensate, but the overall DPS was lower and the utility was lower as well. Ultimate also went up another 10 seconds in this patch. Next patch, 8.8, the healing bonus from her auto attacks was removed and the cooldown of her ult reached its final resting point of 140 seconds, the longest cooldown of any ability in the game, 50 seconds longer than your average ultimate. 8.10, Mending Water Shield no longer stacks with itself and decreased bounce range. 9.6, Riptide ring duration halved, slow on enemies halved, ultimate initial decaying slow reduced massively. And finally, for now at least, the 10.3 changes, which was more of a shift than a direct buff or nerf, reducing the healing but increasing the shielding and damage to shields on her too. So yeah, as you can tell, this god has received some of the hardest nerfs ever seen. Yemoja has been nerfed more than a lot of gods that have been in the game since season 1, and she debuted in season 7. She's been nerfed more than release King Arthur with original Glad Shield, yet she's still top 5, arguably top 3 to this day. Why is this? Well, it's because Yemoja fundamentally breaks the way Smite is supposed to be played through her Omi system. Yes, there are other aspects of her kit that are really good, like group healing, control through Riptide and her ultimate, lane pressure through her 1, etc. But it's this passive that allows her to spam abilities with no cooldowns that makes it so she will literally never be bad unless Hi-Rez absolutely guts her kit to the point it's unusable. Not only does Omi allow for multiple uses of the same ability to be recast repeatedly, it also gives her the flexibility to adapt to whatever situation is unfolding in the current team fight. Hit a fatty ult trapping 2 or 3 people in, use your Omi on Riptides to keep them trapped in. Backline getting dived hard, spam Mending Waters to keep them topped up. Just got to lane at level 1, spam your 1s to get all the lane pressure you could ever need. It's that flexibility that allows Yemoja to react to any situation, and with such a versatile kit that includes healing, control, lane pressure, poking, peel, anything you could possibly need as a Guardian, and when used right, in larger amounts than any other support can provide due to Omi. This leads to a somewhat problematic design, because even at the moment, Yemoja struggles in lower levels of play. In Bronze, her win rate is just 37.9%, whereas in Grandmasters, it's an astronomical 71.4%. And in the Pro League, she is still seeing consistent play to this day and is banned in about half of SPL games. This leads to a tough situation for the balance team. The god is clearly overperforming at higher levels of ranked play and the Pro League, where they can play the god to its full potential, but nerfing the god for these applications will make her utterly useless in the lower ranks, where she already sits below a 50% win rate. This conundrum is, I'm sure, something that has been brought up in the balance room at Hi-Rez many a time, and so far it seems like they're going with the approach of continuing to nerf her even if it makes her irrelevant in low level play. I have to say, this is probably the correct approach. Even in Plat and above, Yemoja is overperforming, so it's not like it's just GM and SPL or anything. She is overperforming in most levels of play. Depending on the meta, she even has a positive win rate in gold from time to time, which is the most populous rank. Gold and above encapsulates some 60 to 70% of the player base, so it makes sense to continue nerfing, even if it makes her win rate drop even further in bronze and silver. Short of a rework, this is sort of the only thing they can do with this god, with it being so fundamentally problematic and game breaking. And to be clear, please do not rework Yemoja high-res. She is one of the coolest designs in the entire game, and it would be incredibly lazy and sad to just rework her into a generic guardian just because she overperforms at higher level play. I don't want to see another Persephone rework. We'll have to see going forward if they continue to nerf Yemoja, as she hasn't seen any real nerfs since 9.6 last season. The 10.3 changes were more of a shift than an actual nerf, so in the next patch it'll have been a whole year since Yemoja got any actual nerfs. Are they done with her shenanigans and are just going to leave her as is, performing extremely well in higher levels of play and not so much in lower levels? Or will they try and bring her down so she just performs well in high level play and unusable by bronze and silver players due to the skill flaw? We shall see. Catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.